Does Japan assist developing countries with appropriate climate change measures? The small island developing states and least developed countries, which are particularly affected by climate change, are facing life and death problems as nations, such as loss of national land. Therefore, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change was adopted, stipulating that developed countries must provide financing, technology transfer, and capacity building to developing countries. Based on this framework, what assistance is Japan providing to developing countries, and is it appropriate? Japan's assistance with climate change measures to developing countries. First, Japan provides financial support to developing countries through its membership in Green Climate Fund. Green Climate Fund is a fund entrusted by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to administer a system of financing to help developing countries reduce greenhouse gas emissions and cope with the effects of climate change. Japan has contributed $1.5 billion out of the $10.3 billion currently pledged by major countries. In addition, the joint crediting mechanism is being promoted based on bilateral agreements between Japan and developing countries. While Japan contributes to global warming countermeasures by disseminating superior decarbonization technologies to developing countries, greenhouse gas emissions reductions achieved in developing countries are used to help Japan achieve its greenhouse gas reduction targets. Furthermore, climate solutions technological initiatives are being implemented as part of the fossil fuel phase-out initiative. Japan International Cooperation Agency promotes this initiative as the implementing agency for Japan's official development assistance. For example, they are planning to replace an aging water supply system in Jordan. By making the system more energy efficient and reducing operating costs, the project aims to contribute a stable water supply to the capital city and climate change mitigation measures. Concerns that Japan may delay domestic decarbonization. On the other hand, the offsets in developing countries allow Japan to escape from its domestic efforts to achieve greenhouse gas reductions. Japan's coal CO2 emissions rank 4th in the world, and domestic decarbonization should be a top priority. However, Japan continues to be dependent on coal-fired power. At COP26, Japan was awarded the Fossil Prize, a cynical award for countries that have dragged their feet in climate negotiations. The reason is that Prime Minister Kishida's speech on zero-emission thermal power contributed little to achieving the 1.5 degrees Celsius targets and could be a reason Japan continues using coal-fired power. Furthermore, despite the decarbonization efforts in developing countries, the Japanese government is still trying to move forward with coal-fired and fossil fuel projects simultaneously. Japan International Cooperation Agency is currently pursuing coal-fired power projects in Bangladesh and Indonesia as part of its official development assistance program. Despite G7 agreements to end new direct international government support for coal-fired power generation by the end of this year. However, the Japanese government considers these two projects as existing projects and intends to continue with the program. Japan should pursue essential assistance to developing countries. It is a fact that while the Japanese government takes climate change measures for developing countries, the purpose of these measures is often not essential assistance to developing countries. We need to monitor these contradictions, listen to the voices of developing countries, and provide essential assistance.